Hey guys, this is Lauren Hollows for NOI Education Services, and I am coming at you with our 2023 top tips for assessment. So today I want to talk about when we start to get questions about, for example, what is the organizational requirement for X, Y, and Z, or organizational requirements or workplace policies and procedures for X, Y, and Z. So this is where contextualizing to your audience is really, really crucial. It's certainly probably one of the biggest points of difference when it comes to NOI or assessment tools is that we write for a specific audience. So we'll either write for like international students that are studying in a classroom, or job seekers who don't have access to a workplace, or trainees or apprentices that are already in the workplace, or managers who have got 50 years of experience and they're going through an assessment only pathway. Like, our assessments are contextualized to that group. Where you are writing an assessment and you've got to cover multiple cohorts, the recommendation is always to come from the position of like best practice. Okay. And this can work quite well even when you're dealing with students that have access to a workplace, because there are so many workplaces, even large workplaces, that actually won't have policies and procedures across a range of areas. So, like the amount of businesses that I've gone to and clients that we've worked with, and they're like big clients, and we're like, okay, well, like, where's your equity and access policy, or, where's your communications policy? And they're like, we don't have one of those. So, so the best thing to do for when you're working from that perspective is like, you can do it one of two ways. You can kind of go a what if sort of scenario. So, imagine you are working at Google and try and pick like one of those sort of big companies that everyone's kind of got a familiarity with. So imagine you're working at Google. What would be an example of a workplace policy and procedure that might be in place in relationship to ethical behavior, codes of conduct, in relation to, posting online, right? Or use of social media. And so people look at that and go, oh, well, look, like, you might have like a social media policy where if you're going to post something political, you've got to say that my opinions are my own. It's something along those lines. So you can kind of do that what if scenario. What if scenarios are really good for younger cohorts, for cohorts with lower levels of knowledge. So like when you're dealing with your Cert 2s and your Cert 3s, what if scenarios are really good because it can help put them in place, and make the question make sense to them. The other option is just to go with like what would be a good example of, of a policy or a procedure that relates to code of conduct and ethical use of ethical behavior on social media. Okay, so coming at it from that best practice perspective, try and stay away from things like organizational policy. Try and do things like like what's a workplace process. That language tends to be easier for a lot of people to digest. Like the moment you kind of go, what's an organizational policy or what's an organizational requirement? Workplace rule, is a much easier language to kind of digest when it comes to things like that. So that is my tip for when you are working with knowledge questions in and around organizational requirements, workplace policies and procedures. That is all from me today, guys, but we will have lots more coming at you, and we have a full video on this, which I will link to below. If you have questions about assessment, if you have comments about assessment, I want to hear them. Have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.